Everybody makes bad plays, whether they peek an angle wrong, do something without their teammates, or simply test limits. Regardless, you should learn from all these and have the ability to realize what is and isn't a good play. I'll go over what I most often see people get wrong and give you reasons and tips to change your playstyle when needed. Starting with bad habit number 1, overextending. Overextending is when you push past the enemy's normal lines and look for plays. While there are proper and good ways to do this, let's start with some bad ways that people do it. In my first clip, my team just lost pistol and are playing a slow B default. Eventually, the enemy Reyna overextends looking for a play. Without checking her corners, she gives me a free vandal. This overextension ended up losing her team the round. What did she do wrong? Well, looking to overextend is not bad, but you should always look to do it with a teammate. Compare the Reyna in the first clip to the Reyna in the second clip, where we watch mid window together for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then once we hear that they are A, she pushes out and I hold her window. Then KJ joins her mid and I rotate A, entrapping the enemy. If you want to overextend, look to bring your team along for the ride. It will make these plays better. But just because you are with your team doesn't mean it will always work out. In this next clip, I TP over to my lurking Cypher who just exposed the entire enemy team with his ult. I get the plant down and my team takes aggressive fights. And yet, we still lose all of the gunfights. Think about this round. We could have played back and played off the bomb. Neither play is necessarily better, but you must weigh your odds of each. Lastly, if overextending with or without your teammate can still go poorly, when can you overextend? The best time to overextend is when your team is at a player disadvantage, meaning you are playing a round that is a 3v5 or worse. During these rounds, you should often look to overextend and try to find an unsuspecting enemy to even up the player count. Overextending can be a great play. Never do it alone. Even with teammates, you will need decent teamwork, and in a player disadvantage, look to even up the numbers whenever possible. Next bad habit, poor site execution. Whether you are a duelist, initiator, or controller, you likely are at fault when your team makes a poor site hit. For a duelist, this can look like using utility like a Reyna flash, but not taking any fights until they are gone, causing all your space creation to be wasted. Or for an initiator, like this Sova on the enemy team, you probably have absolutely no idea when you should or shouldn't use your dart. Poor initiator utility is often the worst site execution out of any role. Why? The enemy team is hitting my site. I watch for the enemy darts and then I turn and flash the entry, killing multiple members and winning the round for my team. Now, let us go back. Imagine if the dart was thrown right now. Right when the jet dashes out, instead of me having time to shoot the dart, flash a main, and move up on the jet, I would probably be in a panic and getting pinged. Key tip as an initiator, look to use your utility as your team is exploding or a second after when the enemy is trying to shoot your team, and you will succeed in more site hits. Lastly, poor site execution for anybody can be because you are scared and don't run into the site. If this is often you, simply start running into the site and helping your team. It isn't always going to work out, but you don't want to be me in this Omen clip on Abyss. My team breach ults, flashes, and runs in. What do? I take 3 steps in just to run away. Imagine if I just kept taking space and perhaps we could have won the round. The penultimate bad habit, not having a lurker on your team. The worst place the offense can find themselves is getting stopped trying to 5-man hit a site. The enemy team gets to stack the site, the offense doesn't know if they have any map control on the other side, While the offense doesn't need to lurk every round, never having a lurk is also a bad idea. Tip: try to have someone lurk until they are either found or you know that the enemy isn't playing aggressive for space. Next tip for the lurker: being the lurker for your team means you need to play slower, but also fast enough that you have impact on the round. You don't want to be the first to die, but you also don't want to never have impact on the round. Practice lurking and find this mid ground for yourself. Also, if you do get a kill lurking, you should often either completely slow down or completely speed up. You want to take space or retreat and play numbers with your team. I'll show you what I mean for slowing down. In this clip, I don't get far into my lurk before I get a kill. Here, you could either rush in and try to take as much space B as possible, or do what I do and retreat. The enemy doesn't know if I am still lurking B or not. So I play with my team, creating a stronger player advantage, and the enemy likely leaves a player B to watch for my late lurk. To end the video, bad habit number 4. Never punishing the enemy's economy. Do you ever buy the outlaw? What about making a call to counter the enemy op or a classic round? Well, you should be doing this. I'll take you through a couple rounds and how I like to punish people for buying after losing the pistol round. While most people will buy Sheriff's second round, this game they bought shotguns. A smart change on a map like Bind with all the close angles. Still losing the round, I knew they would be low on money, so I bought an outlaw, one of my favorite guns in the game. With this, I told my team to play slow, which of course they didn't and all died. But fear not, because I chose to take a calculated risk. I punished 1, 2, and then 3 players for their light shields. Now it's a 2v2. Next, Clove makes a bad solo hero play, meaning I can double shot her and win. And then it's a one-on-one gunfight.
Let's go. Oh, fuck. No way.
Simply by noticing the enemy's economy would be off, I took a 2-round advantage and pushed it into a 3-round advantage, having a huge impact on my own game. And having impact on your own games often means winning more of them. Tips: look to buy an outlaw when the enemy can't afford full shields, smoke off normal op lines and take closer fights, or play slow and fight as a team against enemy ecos. Valorant is all about making smart and calculated plays. While it can be hard in the moment to know whether your plays are either of these, you can be more sure when you play with your team and look to take advantage of your enemy's bad habits.